When most people think about MedTech, they picture one thing: sales reps walking into hospitals selling devices. But the reality is, this industry is so much more complex than that. Behind every device, every procedure, and every hospital decision is an entire ecosystem. The ecosystem includes physicians, clinicians, reimbursement, operations, inventory, patient outcomes, trust. And if you want to succeed in MedTech, you have to understand how all these pieces work together. Welcome back to Front Row Files. I'm your host, Jennifer Thompson. And today I want to talk about something I wish someone had explained to me earlier in my career. And that's how this industry actually works behind the scenes. Because most new people that enter the MedTech space are thinking primarily about selling products. But the best people in the industry quickly realize that this business is really about solving problems, building trust, and improving patient outcomes while navigating an incredibly complex healthcare system. Today, I look forward to unpacking several of those complexities with you. Thanks for joining. In this first segment, let's talk about how hospitals don't buy products like typical consumers do. One of the biggest misconceptions about MedTech is thinking hospitals buy products the same way we buy products. They don't. A hospital doesn't just ask, what's the newest device? They ask, does it improve outcomes? Will my physicians adopt it? Can we get reimbursed appropriately? Does it improve efficiency? Is the service team reliable? What are the long-term costs, and how difficult is this product to implement? That means the best product does not automatically win. And honestly, that surprises a lot of people entering the field. Speaking from my personal experience in launching new products, the physicians, are super excited. We get that opportunity to get it in their hands, especially any kind of new innovative technology. But we also have to spend time working with the administration to help them understand, A, how this is going to help their efficiency in their facilities. B, what does the reimbursement look like compared to the cost of the product? Is it even reimbursed? If it is reimbursed, who is it reimbursed with? Whether it's Medicare or private insurance. So there's a lot of nuances that you have to understand to be able to sell your product. I think it's important that we let everyone know in the beginning that it's not just about selling the shiny new gadget. In this segment, let's talk about relationships with the physicians and with administration. Relationships matter more than most people realize. This is a relationship business. Physicians are making high-pressure decisions that impact real patients. Hospitals are balancing massive operational pressures. Clinical teams are managing intense environments every day. So trust matters. And trust is not built through one sales pitch. It's built through consistency, responsiveness, preparation, reliability, showing up when things go wrong, and helping solve problems under pressure. The people who succeed long-term in this industry are usually the people others know that they can count on. This is especially true when you are selling a product that has a high intimacy with the physician, when you're relied upon to be in the room during the procedure, when the physicians are really leaning on you and your expertise to make sure that the patients come out with a great outcome. That's where the relationships really matter. In this segment, let's talk about the importance of the clinical team. They are the backbone of success. I served as a clinical specialist as one of my roles at Medtronic, and it was one of the best ways to really understand how clinical and sales work together. One thing I really want you to understand is how important the clinical specialists are in MedTech. A lot of people assume the sales rep drives everything, but really, the clinical team often trains the physicians, supports procedures, supports clinic, troubleshoots live cases, educates the hospital staff, help physicians gain confidence with therapies, and drive long-term adoption. In many organizations, the strongest commercial leaders started on the clinical side because they deeply understood both the therapy and the customer experience. I personally believe that my clinical organization not only serves at the right hand of the sales rep, but they are our secret weapon. They are the ones that are in the field and gaining the confidence of those around them and can report back to the sales rep things that are happening that maybe the sales rep wasn't aware of. Oftentimes, the clinical organization is your first role in MedTech. Rarely do you find an opportunity to go straight into MedTech with no experience as a sales rep. So I highly encourage you looking for those opportunities for a clinical specialist role, knowing that you are going to be an integral part of the success of that territory. In this segment, I want to talk about the power of reimbursement. This is a word that every MedTech professional should learn early. And what is reimbursement? So literally, the definition of reimbursement is how the hospital or what the hospital gets paid for doing a procedure. You can have an incredible therapy, a life-changing therapy, but if a hospital can't financially sustain it on a regular basis, adoption becomes very difficult. That's why it's important to understand Medicare, private insurance, procedure coding, understanding all these different parts of reimbursement makes you extremely valuable to the customer. So much so that a lot of organizations have created teams just around regional economics, helping educate our customers on what reimbursement looks like. No matter how great your product is, if the customer isn't going to get paid for using it, you have quite an uphill battle before you. I have seen adoption of product catapult as soon as reimbursement was announced. In this segment, let's talk about the importance of service and how service wins business. There's a saying in MedTech, people may buy one product once, but they stay because of the service. And this is true. It's absolutely true. Hospitals remember who answered the phone or the page, who solved the inventory issues, who stayed late during difficult cases, who trained the new staff, who remained calm during a stressful moment in the lab. And all of this is what service brings to the table. And that service, that really good service, brings loyalty from the customer. The more ingrained our service is into the day-to-day of the physician, the hospital, the patient, the clinic, the more difficult it is to walk away. That's why we say that service creates the loyalty. In many cases, your responsiveness and your partnership matter just as much as the product itself, and sometimes a little bit more. In this segment, let's just talk a little bit about how small this industry is. If you listen to my last podcast, there was a segment on your reputation and how important it is to have a good reputation. Well, there's a reason for that. MedTech is surprisingly small. It's a small world. We all know each other, and we all know that we're probably going to be working together at some point in our careers. People move companies all the time. I am not one of them, but they do move. Leaders stay connected. Even the leaders that have left my company, I'm still connected to them in networks and just, friendships. Physicians know one another. They know our teams and they talk, right? And recruiters talk. Your reputation is going to follow you wherever you go. You cannot run away from your reputation in one company and go to another. It's very difficult. It usually travels with you. And that's why professionalism is so important in this world. How you treat people under stress, how you treat them during conflict, how you treat them when you lose, and how you treat them when things go wrong. Those moments define your reputation more than your title ever will. Nobody wants to work with someone who makes them feel bad. So it's really important that you understand that the way you treat your team members and your customers while you're at one company can and will follow you to the other company. It's a small, small world. And there's a high likelihood you're going to be working with someone that was on the opposite side of the line at some point. In this last segment, I'd like to talk about what keeps people in MedTech. And the good companies have strong missions, and that is what keeps us here and keeps us driving. The MedTech space is a lifestyle choice. This is not a quote-unquote job. This is a lifestyle. There's a high likelihood you're probably going to be on call. If you're not on call, there are long hours. There's a lot of pressure. There's travel. There's quarter-end stress, so every 3 months is another stressful quarter. It's a very competitive environment. But what you see and what keeps people in the MedTech space for decades is the mission. You see in this space the fruits of your labor, and those fruits are the patients on the table. You get to see every day what you are working hard for. And what you're working hard for is another patient's life. You get to see how their therapy or the therapy that you're providing improves their life. You get to see emergencies be prevented because of your product that you're selling. You get to see patients have more time on earth to be able to see their grandchild get married, see, great-grandchildren be born. And their life is extended, and that's because of you and the therapy that you're providing. When you experience those moments firsthand, it completely changes your perspective on work. You quickly realize that this industry is not just about devices. It's about people and the impact that you make every day. I often tell my team, there's not a whole lot of people out there who can look back on their career and actually say they made a difference. And they made a huge impact on people's lives. And that's why you see people in this industry for decades and decades, and they cannot get away. Because every day, no matter what the stress is and what they had to miss in their personal life, they're missing that stuff for a greater cause. And that is the absolute beauty of the MedTech space. So wrapping up this episode, if you're entering the MedTech space, my advice is simple. Learn beyond your role. Don't just learn your product. Learn about the hospital system, physician dynamics, reimbursement, operations, patient impact, and the pressures that your customers are going through. Because the people who grow fastest in this industry are usually the people who understand the bigger picture. Thanks again for joining another episode of Front Row Files. I really appreciate you being here and participating. Remember, the best careers in MedTech are built not just by selling a product, but by becoming a trusted partner in improving patient care. Until next time, remember, always sit in the front row.